Okay, today I'm replacing the pan, adjusting the bands, and putting a Durali filter adapter in this 46RE on my 99 Durango. And since I'm replacing the pan, I just use a self tapper. As soon as the self tapper hit the threads, pull it back out, drain the pan. The pan's all warped up and bent. You kind of see it's bent right here. And just no good. I mean, for this. Still usable for using, say I need to pull the transmission, it's still usable for that. But for what the intended purpose is of holding fluid and not leaking, this transmission has 15,000 miles on it. I should not have a leak like that. So yeah. And I'll show you what I'm getting ready to do to it. So yeah, I'm a little overdue on doing this service. I rebuilt the transmission 15,000 miles ago, and things just have not worked my way to where I could get this done. So get everything out of here. Got my new pan with drain plug. Now I'll go ahead and break this free and then put it back on, maybe, just to make sure it's not too tight like GMs tend to be. I went to Harbor Freight. So go to Harbor Freight and I get myself these magnets. And I'm just going to put them in here, probably against the wall or against the bottom. I'm not sure yet. And then, of course, I will also go ahead and put the factory magnet, if it'll fit right here, because this is where the factory magnet normally goes. If it fits right here, I'll go ahead and put it in right there. But I'm going to put this Durali kit here in it. And it's a spacer. Bolts to the bottom of the valve body. And they supply the bolts and the O-ring and the Allen wrenches you need. Because I'm going to put, instead of a 46RE filter, the previous style 46RH 727-904 style filter in this. Because the newer ones, and I'll show you the new one when I take it out, this is covered with plastic, and most of this is covered with plastic with one spot in the bottom back here to suck fluid in. So the idea is put this on there like that, like so, and then that drops it down in the pan to where it's covered with transmission fluid. I've done this before without this adapter and it works, but what I was doing then was slightly different. I put this one of these 46 pans on a 727. But yeah, it did starve it for fluid a few times when cornering. So you need your adapter so you don't starve your transmission with fluid. And I'll bring you back when I'm pull the pan off. Okay, pan's pretty well done draining. I'm gonna remove these bolts here because you have to get to the filter. And I'll bring you back in just a minute. Okay, so we got the old pan off. Sorry. Here's the filter. See, they got just a little bit right there. So, with that popped off, let some more drain out while I show you the differences between the two filters. Okay. So yeah, there's a filter that's supposed to be in here. You can see I've got some material in there. Got a little bit of stuff on around my magnet. Not too bad. Again, as compared to this filter. Which one do you think is going to flow more? So I'll get that magnet cleaned up. We're going to clean the magnet here up. And put it in that new pan. And I'll show you how to set everything up. So yeah, you just get your magnet as clean as you can. I take, right here. I use gasoline because it evaporates. And paper towel and just start cleaning it up. Get as much of that metal off there as you can. I mean, the nice thing is it's not going to come off in the fluid. Alrighty. Get my pan cleaned back out here. And if I was reusing the old pan, I'd just clean it out with gasoline. But I'm reusing my new pan, and I did the same thing. I just threw a little bit of gas in there, kind of wipe everything out. Clean up all your flanges. The less you have in there, the better off you are. That's pretty good. Now some transmissions don't use a filter, they use a screen that you just put on there. Okay, so I got everything out of there. My magnet should go. Won't fit. Doesn't matter. And then, like I said, get these magnets from Harbor Freight. This package over here. They're inexpensive. They're 99 cents for a package. And transmission, in my opinion, you cannot have too many magnets. Just like you can't have too much filtration. Set one there and one there. Now I gotta get out my book. And this book is going to be very important to you. Get yourself a Haynes repair manual. Some vehicles, this Dodge is one of them, has bands you can adjust, some do not. So we're looking for torque specifications. Okay, we're going to have to go automatic transmission. Okay. Fluid adjustment. I'll be back in a second. Sorry, I had to go look it up. And be sure to put your filter on in the correct, with the correct torque. So yeah, I had to look that up. Now we're going to get underneath here and put this Durali adapter on. And this is not the only Durali adapter I've got, because I put a secondary filter on this. Just to show you how much difference is going to be. And there it's sitting right on it. Nowhere close to as deep as it needs to be. As compared to that. That will completely submerge that filter in the oil. Because look where your dipstick is compared to your filter. Not really going to focus, but let's see if I can. There you go. So yeah, I mean, there's a good inch and a half there. So that'll keep this filter completely submerged and puts it also towards the bottom of the pan closer so that the fluid is cooler, which is key. Now, if your transmission has bands that you can adjust, now is the time to adjust any that you have to have the pan off. I just prefer to adjust both my bands at the same time, so that since I've already got the pan off, I'm already under here, get them done, then get the new pan on. Or the cleaned up pan, however that works for you. Alrighty, there we are. New pan installed, torqued down to spec. Got my drain plug in. Time to top it off and start filling it with fluid. Now I said I had another Durali product. I got a filter adapter here for my automatic transmission. And now I've changed this filter several times. Been playing with different size filters for here. And I'm just going to go with a smaller one. This comes directly out of my coolers on my return line going back to the transmission. That way the fluid going to the return line is good and clean, because these Chryslers, when they pick up, they send to the cooler, then back to the transmission and distribute from the back side of the transmission forwards and backwards, further backwards. So when I rebuilt this transmission, I had no way of cleaning out my coolers, so I just did this instead, and it seemed to have worked. I'm going to let that drain while I put 4 quarts of fluid in the pan. And I treat this oil filter just like you would for your engine. You pre-lube it, or put the oil on the ring. I got 4 quarts of transmission fluid in the pan. Now I'll fire it up and get it off the ramps. Well, actually, I just pushed it off the ramps. Now, one thing, when I was putting that pan on, I had to change where my magnets were, so I just kind of put them against the front of the pan because they were getting in the way of the filter. So put it back, put it in park. Fire it up, and then run it through the gears. Back it up a little bit. Pull it forwards a little bit. Put it back in park and just let it sit here and circle. Now, when I rebuilt this, I put the manual valve that allows it to circulate fluid all the time in park. Check, make sure I ain't got no fluid leakage on my filter there. I'll go ahead and put it back in neutral. Now I went ahead and poured my transmission fluid in this old oil jug from my oil change the other day. As you can see, I got almost 5 quarts out of it. So I started with 4, and then I got probably a cup out of the coolers. I'm going to check the transmission fluid. Pull dipstick, wipe it off. Put it back in. Kind of see. Do that again. Right at the minimum mark. Now I'm going to go test drive it, get it hot, and bring it back. So I went and test drove it, listening for it to... Alright, so I went and test drove it, feeling for the shifts, make sure it's shifting correctly and the appropriate times, and also to get the fluid heated up. And then I'm going to check it one last time, and over the next few days, driving back and forth to work, I'll keep an eye on it and adjust it as needed. But yeah, that's how you do a transmission fluid and filter change. Your vehicle may not have bands to adjust, or adjustable bands, That's fine. Not every vehicle does. And if you add extra magnets, you may have to fiddle around with where you're putting them so that they don't interfere with your filter. You do not want to interfere with that filter in any feasible way. Like I said, I had to put my magnets up against the wall with that adapter I had in there. So yeah, go out there, wrench on stuff, and fix your own stuff. Save yourself a little bit of money. So, like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching.